this brickwork down here in the bottom isn't straight. It weebles and wobbles, and it actually varies by like 1.5 inches under here. And there's places where the bottom of this sill plate is exposed. And I squirted it real good with my boric acid, but I'm afraid rainwater's going to splash up and wash that off. So I decided what I would have to do is scribe a piece of pressure-treated lumber to fit under there. By scribe, I mean you wind up cutting a board lengthwise so that its edge pretty well matches that wavy brick down there. But there wasn't any room to get a compass in there, which I would normally have used. Normally you'd clamp a board up under there and then use a compass to follow the line that you needed. So I wound up taking a measurement all along every 3 inches and adding a 1/2 inch to that measurement because I also want to cover the sheathing that I eventually put on there. Then I could clamp my pressure-treated board up under there, transfer those measurements and the 3-inch marks to my pressure-treated board, plotting those measurements out like this. Then I had a rough line of how the brickwork kind of moved around. Once I cut it out with a jigsaw and then did some fine tuning, the edge of the board pretty well fits the roughness of the brickwork on my foundation. So now you know, well, another way at least to get the edge of a board to fit a rough surface. Okay, so what is a Mooney Wall? I posted a link in the introduction video to my little epic mini series here, but I'll post it again down in the more info box for this video. It's a technique that was invented by 2 guys by the name of Mike Smith and Tim Mooney. Or is it Tim Smith and Mike Mooney? I can't remember. And what they were trying to accomplish is to cure a problem called thermal bridging. See, wood isn't a very good insulator. As it turns out, a 2x4 across its width is only about an R3. And it doesn't matter what you use for insulation, fiberglass like I'm using here, how well it's installed, how meticulous you are, cellulose. You can even have a company come in and spray foam your wall from the inside or out. And the studs are still going to be in here, the framing, the skeleton of your house. If you take a 8-foot 2x4, that's 96 inches, and it's 1.5 inches wide. Multiply that, you got 144 inches. Pretty simple math. That works out to, for every 8-foot 2x4, 1 cubic foot of space in your wall that's only an R3. So, what the Mooney Wall tries to cure is that. I got to thinking about it in a different way, and there's been some studies where they've, calculated this. And in a normal wall, with all your headers and your sills and studs and around the windows and everything, it can be about 30% of a wall that's only R3. Because, believe it or not, these 2x4s across here and all this wood adds up to that much. And I paced off this wall again a few minutes ago. It was longer than I thought it was. Remembered, it's 42 feet long. So I got to thinking about it in a different way. It's 9.5 feet tall. So 30% of that essentially means that I kind of have a 9.5 foot by 12.5 foot wide window that does nothing but lose heat. Big picture window. So I had hoped to use 2x4s here on their sides, and I would have put another R13. This is R13 faced insulation. So I would have had here in the centers a full R26, but the overhang, the soffit, is only about 5 inches wide, so I don't have enough room. So I ripped 2x6s down to 2 inches wide. All the bottom lower ones are pressure treated, and I sprayed the others. But the idea here is, for me, if I take a piece of, and I've got a bunch of this that I salvaged. Two-inch thick styrofoam, polystyrene insulation. Slip it in here. And I'll seal all the edges. Now, each one of these 2x4 spaces has an R8 of polystyrene insulation plus the 3 of the stud. So I've got an R11 in those, and then in the center areas I'm up to an R21. That's pretty good. So, fold these all the way around, and I'm going to seal these edges with spray foam and secure everything, and I'll have a pretty good wall started.